Hi, before I dive into the content of this video, please subscribe to my channel so I will keep on creating contents like this. It won't cost you anything, but your support means a lot to me. So this is a continuation of the previous video about web development fundamentals. We've covered the installation of Visual Studio Code, and we've also discussed the basic HTML structure, including elements and tags. In this video, there are three main things which I will cover. Firstly, it's about HTML and CSS, and secondly, the HTML tags, header and div. I'll try my best to explain what each tag does, and I hope everything will be clear in this tutorial. And the third one is the class attribute, which is mainly used for styling purposes. So yeah, before we actually start writing HTML and CSS, let me explain what CSS is. So basically, CSS is a style sheet language used to control the presentation and layout of web pages, and it allows developers to style HTML elements by defining properties like colors, fonts, spacing, and positioning. So in short, CSS is an essential tool for making websites visually appealing and user-friendly. At first, it might sound a bit bizarre, but once you start doing it practically, I promise you everything about CSS will start to make perfect sense. Okay, open up Visual Studio Code, and before we do anything else, there's one important thing that I would like you to install. It's called a Lifesaver. So Lifesaver, it's a Visual Studio Code extension. Okay, so to install it, go to the extensions tab on the left pane, click on it, and then on the search bar type Lifesaver, and the search results will appear on your right, on the right side of the screen. Okay, find the install button and click install to install Lifesaver. I already have it installed in my computer, so I won't install it. And if you're still wondering what does Lifesaver do, Lifesaver launches a local development server that automatically refreshes your web page whenever you save changes to your code, and this makes it easier to see updates instantly without manually refreshing your browser. After you've installed the Lifesaver, close off everything, close the extensions tab, and at the bottom right corner of Visual Studio Code, there should be a Go Live option. Okay, if you see that option, it means the Lifesaver has been successfully installed in your computer. To begin writing HTML and CSS, close VS Code and reopen it to make sure the Lifesaver works properly. So after reopening the VS Code, let's create a new folder. So navigate to the File tab and click on the Open Folder option. Now the File Explorer should be opened. Okay, navigate to where you want to create a new folder. For me, I will create it in the desktop area to make things easier. Click on the new folder option, and you can name the folder whatever you want. For me, I'm going to name it My First Website. After that, press enter to save the folder and select folder, and the folder will be opened in the VS Code. Next, create a new file by clicking on the new file option next to the folder name, and name the file index.html, and then press enter to save it. Bear in mind that the index.html is the default name of a home page. Okay, so when creating a website or web page, always start with the index file or index.html file. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut way to generate some pre-written HTML code instead of typing everything manually. Okay, to generate the pre-written HTML code, you have to press exclamation mark on your keyboard. After that, you can either press tab or the enter key, and the pre-written code in HTML will be generated. Okay, before proceeding, let me explain these two meta tags inside the head tag. The first one, it's the UTF-8. It specifies the character encoding as UTF-8, which supports a wide range of characters, including special symbols and multiple languages, and it ensures proper text display on web pages also. And the second one, the main reason or the purpose of the second one is because it makes the website responsive by adjusting the page width to fit the user's device screen. And for now, don't worry about these two meta tags because they are not that important in this tutorial. Alright, let's begin writing some HTML. As you can see, the title tag has already been generated, so rename the document to home, okay, because this will be our home page. And in the body tag, we'll create an h1 tag and can name it anything. You can give it any name. I'm going to use my name as an example, ahm, assuming we are doing a website for a consultant company. So yeah, I'm going to use ahm consultants, okay, as an example. After that, below the h1 tag, we'll create a paragraph tag. You can type anything you want, but for this tutorial, I'm going to just type enter some random text. Doesn't mean anything. It's just for demonstration purposes. So I'm gonna copy it from Notepad and paste it 3 times to make the paragraph a bit longer. But yeah, you can type anything, anything informative about your website. This is just an example. The text doesn't mean anything. After that, go to the File tab, click on it, and click Save. Or you can use the shortcut key Ctrl+S to save the file. Then at the bottom, click on the Go Live option, and your website will be automatically opened in a web browser. I'm using Chrome, and there you go. Okay, your website should appear, and at the top you can see the title, which is a home, and you have the h1 and paragraph text there. Alright, back to the HTML file. Moving on, below the body tag, we're going to create a header tag. Okay, header tag. So basically, header tag is used for creating a navigation menu on a website. So here's how we'll do it. First, create the header tags, both opening and closing. Remember, all tags have a closing. When you open a tag, there must be a closing end to it. So between the header tags, let's create a UL tag. UL stands for unordered list. So inside the UL tag, we'll create a bunch of list items. Li stands for list items. So the first list as item will be a home. So this will be for the home page. So I'll copy it and paste it 3 more times. And I'll start renaming. The second one, I'll name it about. This is the link for the about page. And then we have services, and the last one will be for contact. So again, click save, or just hit the Ctrl+S shortcut key to save the file. And your website should have a navigation menu. Currently, it doesn't look that interesting, but when we apply CSS, everything will start to look visually appealing and user friendly. Okay, I'm back to Visual Studio Code in the HTML file. Below the paragraph, let's create a footer. So this will be the footer of home page. Within the footer text, let's enter some text. Let's begin with the year 2025, and then type &copy. Okay, this will generate a copyright symbol when you open this file on the browser, and then type copyright AHM consultants. Okay, so when you are done, hit Ctrl+S to save the changes and go to the browser, and at the very bottom, just below the paragraph, there should be a footer. Okay, the next step will apply CSS to the whole HTML file. Alright, back to the HTML file in Visual Studio Code. Before proceeding to CSS, let me create one thing. Let's wrap the whole heading and the paragraph in a section tag. So basically the section tag is used to group related contents together in a web page. Okay, so let's create the opening section tag and closing section tag, and wrap the h1 and the paragraph tag inside the section, and then press Ctrl+S to save the changes, and then create a new folder by clicking on the new folder option. This folder should be under the My First Website folder. Name the folder CSS in lowercase, and then hit enter to save the folder, and then right click on CSS folder and select the new file option. Create a new file and name the file styles.css. Hit enter and the file should appear in Visual Studio Code. Next, in order for the CSS file and the HTML file to communicate together, we need to link the CSS file in the index.html file. So let's go to the index.html file, and inside the head tag, just below the title, we'll create a link to link the CSS file. So this is how you link the CSS file in a HTML file. So basically the link tag, this tag is used to link external resources. Okay, and the rel attribute equals a style sheet specifies that it is a CSS style sheet file, and the href attribute defines the path to the CSS file. So make sure the CSS file is within the same directory as the HTML file. After that, save the changes to the index.html file, and let's move on to the CSS file, styles.css. So in the CSS file, let's begin applying some general styles for the body tag. So the first property is the font family. Okay, this sets a clean readable font, Arial, Helvetica, and sans serif. Okay, you can pick whatever font you like. There are tons of font in VS Code. And the next thing is the next property is the margin, set to 0. Okay, this removes the default margin, and the third one is fading, which will be set to 0 also, and this removes the default fading. And let's set the background color. The background color will be white. We set the background color to white. So hashtag FFF is the color hex code for white. So you can either type the hex code or just white in text. And the next thing is the text align, which will be a center to center the text. And moving down, the display will be flex. Okay, this enables a flex box layout. Okay, later when you see the output, you will see what it means. Okay, and the flex direction will be a column. Okay, what this does is it aligns items in a column. Okay, and the next thing is the justification. We'll apply it. Okay, the justified content will be center, and this centers the content vertically. The content in the body tag will be centered vertically. And finally, the final property of the body tag will be the height. Okay, the height will be 100 viewport height. Okay, this sets the full viewport of the height. Okay, we are done with the body tag, and now let's move on to the header tag. Sorry, before we move on, I think I made a mistake inside the link of the HTML where we link the CSS file. I missed the folder name, so go back to it and enter the folder name, which is a css/styles.css. So that is the right file path for the CSS file. So I'm back to the CSS file. Let's continue on with the header. The header background color, let's set the background color to a dark background. Okay, type a hashtag 333, and there you will have a dark gray color for the background, and set the padding to 10 pixels and 0. So this adds a vertical spacing inside the header. Now let's style the UL element, the annotated list. To style it, let's declare header UL, and let's set the list style to none. Okay, this removes the default list bullet points. And let's set the padding to 0. And let's continue on with the list item. Type header ULLI for the list item, and the display will be inline. So this makes the list items appear in one line. Get rid of the second column, and let's set the margin. The margin will be 0 and 15 px. So this adds spacing between the menu items. And the next thing is the text color. The text color will be set to white. And let's apply a font weight. Set it to bold to make the text appear in bold. And the final property of the list item, let's set the cursor to the pointer. So this changes the cursor to pointer when hovered. When you hover the list item with a mouse, it will change the cursor to a pointer. I really cannot type today. Okay, once you did everything, once you're done with everything, save the file and view the changes on the browser. So now we have some styles applied to the body and the navigation menu. Okay, the next thing we'll continue on with the styling the section and the footer. So this is what it currently looks like with the applied styles. Alright, let's move on to the styles of the section. Let's style the section, including the heading and the paragraph tags. So in the CSS file, styles.css, let's type the section, type section, and then curly braces, open and close curly braces, and in between the curly braces, let's start with the first property. The first property is called the display, which will be set to a flex, and the flex direction will be a column again. Now all this is to center the content. And the third property, let's justify the content, and it will be a center. Moving on, align items will be a center also. And the height will be set to 100%. Okay, moving down, let's style the header, the h1 tag. The color will be set to dark gray color for the font. Type hashtag 333 for the dark gray color, and the margin top will be set to 20 pixels. Okay, this adds a spacing above the heading. So at the top of the heading there will be a small space. Keep in mind that the px stands for pixels. Alright, now let's move to the paragraph. Let's style the paragraph. Let's start with the width. The width will be set to 80%, and this sets the width to 80% of the parent element. Okay, the parent element of the paragraph tag, and then the margin will be set to 0 and auto. Okay, what this does is it centers the paragraph. And then the third property is the line height. I will set it to 1.6, and this improves the readability with line spacing. And the color, the font color or the text color will be set to a slightly dark text for better readability. Okay, we are done with the paragraph tag, and let's save it and view the changes in the browser. Alright, now the header or the navigation have moved to the top of the screen. So this is what the header looks like right now, and the body content including a heading and paragraph is centered vertically. So now let's move on to the footer. Let's style the footer. Back in the CSS file, type the footer, and then curly braces. Within the curly braces, let's declare the properties. Let's start with the background color, which will be set to the dark gray color. Hashtag 333, and the font color will be white. And let's add a padding also, which will be 10 px and 0, and this add a vertical spacing in the footer. And let's move on to the position. The position will be fixed, and this gives the footer at the bottom. Okay, so the footer will be fixed at the bottom, and the bottom will be set to 0. And the width will be set to 100%, and it makes it span the entire width of the footer. After you're done with the footer styles, save it, and let's go to the browser and view the applied changes. So at the bottom, in the footer, as you can see, the changes have been applied. We have the font color and the background color also, and the text has been centered also. Let's change the padding to 30 pixels. Now it's better. So yeah, I think that's about it. We already styled the footer and the body, including the header. Alright, this will be the final part of the video. We'll create a logo, a text logo on the header in the navigation menu. But before that, in order to do that, we have to create a div tag. So what is div tag? Basically, a div tag is a HTML content element used to group and organize content for styling and layout purposes. And it doesn't really have any built-in meaning or style, but it's commonly used to structure sections of a web page. So let's go to the index.html file, and below the opening tag of header, let's create a div tag and type in the company name, for example AHM Consultations. Okay, and then we'll create a class attribute. Okay, and we'll set the class equals to a logo. So basically, a class in HTML is an attribute that allows you to assign a name to an element. This name can be then used in CSS to apply styles to multiple elements with the same class. So yeah, let's give it a logo class and save the file and move on to the styles.css. So yeah, we're going to do some changes to the CSS. Go to the header tag in the CSS file and change the 0 to 20 pixels. Okay, this adds spacing inside the header, and let's move down and create a display property and set it to flex. So this uses flex box to align items horizontally, and let's justify the content. It will be a space between. Okay, this spaces out the logo and the navigation menu. Alright, the last property of the header tag will be align items. Okay, the align items will be set to center also, and this centers the items vertically. Next, we're going to create a new styles for the logo class. So type header.logo for the class and curly braces, and within the curly braces we'll declare some properties starting with the color. The color will be set to white, the font color, and the second property will be a font size will be set to 1.5 EMs. So this increases the font size for better visibility. And the final property of the logo class will be the font weight. Okay, the font weight will be set to bold also. Okay, moving down to the unordered list header UL. Let's set the margin to 0. And display will be set to flex again. Okay, this displays items in a row. Now let's move down to the list items and get rid of the display property. After that, save the changes by pressing Ctrl+S, and let's view the changes in the browser. And in the navigation menu, as you can see, there's sorry, I have made a mistake. It's not AHM Consultation, it should be AHM Consultants. So rename it in the index file, index.html file. Save it and let's view the changes again. Alright, now we have the logo in the top left corner of the navigation menu. So far in this tutorial, we covered a lot. And if you've watched the entire video, I'm confident you now have a solid understanding of how to build a website from scratch. But yeah, this is just the beginning, and in the next video we'll take things further by creating the about, services and contact pages. And we'll also dive deeper into CSS to enhance the styling and make the website look even better. Plus, we'll discuss how to properly link HTML pages together for seamless navigation. To quickly recap what we have covered so far in this video, first we introduced the div and header text, which are essential building blocks for structuring your web page. The div tag allows you to group and organize elements, while the header tag is used for defining the top section of your web page, typically containing things like the logo or navigation menu. And next, we've discussed the class attribute, which is incredibly useful when you want to apply specific styles to multiple elements at once. Okay, so by assigning the same class to different HTML elements, you can apply uniform styling across your page without repeating code. So lastly, we explored the CSS and learned how to apply it to style HTML elements, from controlling the layout to adjusting fonts, colors and spacing. CSS is what brings your website to life and makes it visually appealing. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to stay updated on future tutorials. Your support helps me bring more content like this to you. Stay tuned for the next part, and there's a lot more to learn.